Hey everyone, welcome back to Target Developers. I'm Shinu Sound and I'm super excited to have you here today. In this video, we are diving deep into string manipulation, a crucial topic that you need to master for coding interviews. By the end of this session, you will be fully confident to tackle any string manipulation question that comes your way. And also, I have developed a cool article transformer application just for you guys. I will be walking through the complete code, explaining everything end to end. So if you are looking to level up your skills, so you are in the right place, guys. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe the channel and like the video. It really helps the channel grow. So guys, this is our VS Code editor. So here I will explain you the file structure of this project. So as you can see on the screen guys, I have created a string manipulation component by the Angular CLI command nggc component name. So under this component, you can see there are four files guys, HTML file, SCSS file, spec.ts file and the TS file. So HTML file we have used for the designing the pages, and for SCSS we are using for styling the pages, and spec.ts file for testing purpose, and TS page for the building the logic or writing the logic. And if you scroll down little bit, so you can see there's a parent component app.component.html file. So this in this here we are loading and unloading the components guys, and there's a SCSS file and there's spec.ts file and there are TS file also. There are four files also. If you scroll down little bit, so you will find app.route.ts file. It is for routing the component guys. So guys, now we will see what dependencies we have used throughout the project, what external libraries we use. So now we will go to package.json file guys. In this JSON file, we generally register our external libraries and dependencies throughout our project. You can see on the screen we are using Angular 17 here, and Angular material here we are using 17. And you will go little bit, you can see Bootstrap we are using 5.3. And also we are using TypeScript 5.4.2 guys. So this is our package.json file guys. So guys, in this part of video I will tell you first that how we can build this site app with a header article transformer. So we will design first this part. So let's go to our VS Code editor. This is our app.component.html file as you can see on the screen. So here what we are doing, we are starting this project from this file guys. So you can see we are taking the mat sidenap container. So this is our main container guys, and we are taking the class here sidenap container, and this is a starting of the element guys, and we are closing this here mat sidenap container here. Inside this element you can see we are taking the mat sidenap. It is opening here and closing here. So this element is responsible for the side nav by designing. So under this element we are taking the side nav. This is a template reference variable guys. I will tell you later what is the use of this. And this we are taking the mode is over. It means that this sidebar will overlap the main content guys. It is helpful when we scroll the pages, and we are taking the class here sidenap, and we are taking the mat sidenap content. So this is the content of the page. So this element is responsible for the main content for routing the components here guys. So guys, now we will code under this mat sidenap element. So we are using the mat toolbar guys. It is starting from here and it is closing here guys. In line number 9 it is closing. So inside this we are using the button. Okay, so what this button is doing guys, it is closing the side tab bar. Okay, and here we are using mat icon, so it will show the cross button guys. Okay. And this is the mat icon button. This is the one property of the button in Angular material, and we are calling the click function. When user hit close, this function will call guys click this side nav dot close. So what this function will do, it will close the side nav bar, guys. So guys, we have designed already this close button functionality, guys. Now we will design this YouTube links, guys. YouTube source code developer. So these links we will design now, guys. So this is the opening tag of the mat nav list, and this is the closing tag for mat nav list, guys. I have used three anchor tags here. One for the YouTube guys, and one for the source code, and one for the developer guys. So inside this anchor tag, what we are using mat list item, guys, and we are using href. So under this href, we are giving the link of the YouTube, and we are using the one property here target. So it means we are using the blank. It means it will open in the next step, guys. And we are taking second anchor tag and third anchor tag similar. Now, guys, we will try to design this header part, guys. So, guys, we will start with the content of the page now. We are taking the mat side nav content, and inside this, we are using the mat toolbar element. It is opening here and it is closing here, guys. And we are taking the class sticky. This class is useful when we need to stick our header. When we scroll down the pages, the header should be stick on the top. So if we go to the app.component.scss, if we search sticky, so you can see I've used this class position fixed top 0 width 100%, z index is 1000. Z index is useful when we overlap the elements, guys. Now moving forward. Now guys, we will use the button here. This is the menu button, guys. And we are using the class here side menu and the property mat icon button. It is showing click function, side nav is open. So now we will design the span tag. Now guys, we will design the links here. So we are taking a div tag here. It is opening here and it is closing here. Inside this div, we are taking the class right item. If we search in the SCSS file, you get I use a display flex the gap the 10 pixel. So we are using the three anchor tags here. First anchor tag we are using to source code developer. So we have designed our three links like this. And moving forward to next line, then we will design the main content. So for the main content, we are using the class content, and inside this div, we are using a router outlet. It is basically for loading the guys. We will talk later about this. So guys, one thing we should note here, we are using the Avalon material. So for this element, mat side nav container, mat side nav toolbar, we need to register the modules, guys. So where we need to register the module? So we need to go to the TS file, guys, app.com TS file, and under this component, we need to under this reports, we need to get the module name here. I can tell you one example, like for mat toolbar, we are using a mat toolbar here, guys. You can see we are getting to this. So for this, we need to register here. If you will, if you will not register this module, so you will face the console error, guys. So just keep mind. So guys, we have successfully designed our header, the side nav bar. Now we will look how I designed this footer, guys, with YouTube student developer. So this is our footer section, guys. So this element at the top creates a footer section for the web page, and it styled the Bootstrap classes with a BG dark for a dark background and a text white for a white text guide. Inside the footer, we have a container, guys, that keeps the content nicely aligned with the rest of the page. Inside the container, there's a row with three columns, called MD2, each containing a link. The first column links to a YouTube channel. The link is styled as a white text white, and opens in a new tab with a target blank. The second column links to the source code on GitHub following some styling. The third column links to a developer's portfolio, against opening in a new. The footer is centered horizontally and vertically within each column using Justify Content Center, Text Center, creating a clean and professional look. So now I will talk about how I have designed this text area, how I have developed this functionality. So go to our VS Code. So guys, now we will go to the string manipulation component and we will talk about HTML file, SCSS file, and TS file. So I have opened already HTML, SCSS, and TS file. So I will talk about firstly about this section and the article section. The code starts with a div tag, guys, that has Bootstrap class container and empty5, creating some spaces at the top using the empty5 class and setting up a container to hold all the content. Inside the container, we have another div with class flex item, center, justify center, h4. These classes are responsible to center the text area both vertically and horizontally. Now we will talk about the main content, which is a text area, where users can type their article. It has several Bootstrap classes like width 100, makes the text area take up the full width of its container. Empty 3 adds some margin at the top. FS5 sets a slightly larger font size. PT4 adds padding at the top inside the text area. ML1 it makes the margin left one, and PS4 it makes the alignment from the left side. The placeholder enter your article here is displayed inside the text area when it's empty. I have used Angular directive ng model that binds the text area value to a variable called input string, and also I have used ng class. It dynamically applies a border tinge class if user hasn't entered any text. Now we will talk about clear button. Below the text area, there's a clear button. It's styled using a material design matte black button, as you can see, with a warning color word. When user clicks it triggers a text clear method to clear the text area content. The button is centered using a bootstrap reflex justify content center. If you talk about this method, text clear, so we have defined here. We will search it. You can see we are giving this dot input string, giving an empty string case. Also, we have defined above this input string. This. So, in this way, I have designed our entire article section, guys. I hope you understand. So, guys, now I will tell you how I have designed these buttons dynamically, guys, with the JSON data. So, I will talk in this part about these buttons. So, let's back to our VS Code editor. After this article section, we will go to the button section, guys. So, I will talk about this div, guys, now. The code starts with a div that sets a row using Bootstrap Kit, guys. We are using here row and empty3. And guys, empty3 adds a margin at the top, giving some spaces above the row, guys. Inside this row, there's another div with class called 12, call MD6, call LG4. These classes control how much space each button takes on different sizes, guys. If you talk about call 12, means that button will take up the full width on extra small screen. If you talk about call MD6, means the button will take half of the width on a medium screen. Call LG4 means the button will take one third of the width on the large screens. If you talk about ng4 directive, it is used to loop through an array called buttons, creating a new button for each item in the array. The variable button represents each individual item in the array. Guys, if you search this button in the TypeScript file, you can see we have made the array of JSON objects, guys. We are taking label uppercase, lowercase like this. We are taking it is closing the array of JSON object here. So what we are doing in HTML, we are iterating one by one dynamically button, and we are printing button dot label means we are printing this label uppercase article. So now we will talk about this button element. So the button is created with a button tag and uses the Angular material matte flat button and color primary to style the button with a flat design and a primary color. The class width 100 makes the button take up 100% of the width of its column. The MB2 adds a small margin at the bottom, spacing the buttons apart. The button and FS6 classes add some extra bootstrap styling, making the button look nice and setting the font size. If you talk about custom hover, is likely the custom class for adding a hover effect. If you search custom hover in the SCSS, so you can see the background color is green and border is green. Inside the button.label display the label for each button dynamically based on the label property of each button object. The click attribute listen for a click event. When the button is clicked, it triggers a function called handle click and passes the button's label as an argument. If you search this method in the TS file, what this method implement. So as you can see in the screen, we are taking the button label which we are sending from the HTML, and we are using the switch case here, guys, and we are accepting that button label and matching the case here, uppercase article, lowercase article. Like this we are using the switch case here. So like this we have designed the button section dynamically from the JSON. I hope you understand. So guys, now we will see the functionality one by one of these buttons, guys. So we are starting from the uppercase. So let's go to our VS Code editor. So we are calling this to uppercase function from here, guys. You go to the implementation of this function. So what is the purpose of this function? So this function is designed, guys, to transform a user into an uppercase letter. Let me explain you what we are doing here. Like if I will give Shiva, so what this will print here. So this will give you in the uppercase letter, guys, in the caps. So this functionality we will see here. Firstly, we are checking the user input, guys. The function checks if the user has entered any text by evaluating this dot input string. If there is a text, this dot is user entered text is set to true. If no text is entered by the user, it remains false. So by default, it is false. If the user has entered text, it gets transformed to uppercase using the toUppercase function method. And the result is stored in this dot transform text. If no text is entered, this dot transform text is set to an empty string. After transforming the text, the function checks again if the user has entered text. If so, it triggers another function called openModel with the transformed text as an output. This will display the uppercase text in a pop-up window or a model. Now we will talk about this open model, how I have designed in the HTML. This block of code creates a model pop-up window that appears on the top of the current page. It's commonly way to display additional content without navigating away from the page. The ng-style directive is used to conditionally display the model. The model will only show display block when its pop-up transform is true. Otherwise, it stay hidden, display none. Inside the model dialog class helps to structure the model's layout. It's centered both horizontally and vertically on the screen. The model header section includes a title, which is centered using width 100. The title text, your transform article, is styled with a margin at the top empty too. In the top right corner, there's a close button. When clicked, it triggers the close model function to close the model. The model body contains the transform text, which is dynamically inserted using Angular's inner HTML binding. This allows the content of text transform to display directly in the model. The model footer is included for potential additional buttons or links, but it is currently empty. So guys, now we will see the lowercase article function, how it works, guys. So when we type in uppercase, Shiva, Sa, when we click on the lowercase article, so this will print in the lowercase. As you can see, we have typed in the uppercase and the result is in the lowercase. So like this function is works. So go to our VS Code now. So it is starting from here and it is ending here. If you talk about first line, this dot is user enter text equal to double not operator. This dot input string. So if you talk about this part, guys, what double not operator is doing, it converts the input string to a boolean. And what this line signifies that if the value is true, then it has a content. If it is a false, then it is empty. And this value, true or false, it is stored here. This dot is user enter text. Now we will see what second line signifies. This dot transform text equal to this dot is user enter text question mark. This dot input string two lowercase function colon empty string. So what we are doing, guys? So we are passing this dot is user enter text here and checking the condition. If it is true, then it will run this part. If it is false, then it will run this part. So in the case when it is true, so this input string converts into a lowercase by this function, two lowercase function. If it is false, then it will do nothing. Will store the result here. This dot transform text. Now we will talk about the next line. This dot is user enter text question mark. This dot open model. This dot transform text question mark colon empty string. So what this line responsible for, guys? So this dot transform text we are passing here in the pop-up text. This dot transform text passing in this dot open model. So basically, this is a function for pop-up. When the value is true, then the pop-up will open, guys. If it is false, then the pop-up will not open. Okay. If you talk about this dot open method, what is this? So if you go to talk about this function in the TX, so this is dot open mode. We are passing text transform with any type. This dot transform equal to text transform. So we are passing this value, this way, this dot text transform, and this dot is pop-up transform equal to true. So we are passing the value true. This dot is pop-up transform, and we are checking this is pop-up transform in the HTML pop-up. I will show you this pop-up transform. If it's true, then it will open the pop-up. If it's false, then it will not open the pop-up. So like this, our pop-up will open with this condition. Now back to our TS1. So like this, two lowercase function works, guys. I hope you understand. So now, guys, we will talk about this function capitalize first letter of each word. So what this signifies that every word character, first character is in capital letter. So we are taking here example article. Here, copying and pasting. If you hit this button, what will so you can see every word first character is in capital letter. You can see every word first character is in capital letter. So let's back to our VS Code editor and see how it works. So now we will talk about this function, capitalize words. So basically this function I am calling from here, this dot capitalize. So first line is here, this dot is either enter text equal to double not operator. This dot input is string. So this line, what this line is doing here is it is checking if the user has entered any text or not. If you talk about this part, double not operator converts this dot input string to a boolean. This line returns true if there is a text. So this true or false we are storing in the variable called this dot is user enter text. Next, we take the user's input and store it in this dot transform text. So now I will explain you this line deeply so you can understand better. So explanation of this line, I am assuming the input subscribe target developers. So firstly, we will understand this part. This dot input string dot split function. So split method splits the string into an array of words by spaces. So after that, you will get the result in the array of words. Subscribe target developers. Word dot caret 0 to uppercase plus word dot slice. So we get the output here. Subscribe target developers. So this will input now for the map function. What map function is doing here, guys? It iterates over each word in the array and capitalize the first letter of each word. So how it is capitalizing the first letter, you need to understand. So I am taking word here subscribe and explain how this whole function it is working. So for subscribe, it becomes subscribe at the last. How it is becoming subscribe? Let's understand. Word dot char at 0 dot to uppercase returns s. So how it is returning s here? Char at function returns the character at the index 0. After returning the character, it is converting into uppercase. So you will get it will return s. Then word dot slice 1 returns unsubscribe. So basically this word means this word dot slice 1. So it is taking from index 1 to the end of the string. So what is index 1 here? It is 0 and 1. So it is taking from you be subscribed like this. So it returns like this. Now we will combine both this. So you will get this subscribe. Like this, it is working for target and for developers also. So finally, when this code will run, you will get the result subscribe target developers in the array form. But this is not the final outcome. Now move down. Now we will understand this join method, how it works. So we are calling join method in this array. The join method combines the words back into a single string, means this words will combine as a single string, with each word separated by spaces. So finally, the transform string is subscribe target developer. You can see the spaces are there between the words. Finally, we check if the user entered any text by using the value stored in this dot is user enter text. If true, we call the open model function, passing in the transform text so it can be displayed. If false, we do nothing. So guys, this way we have used this function capitalized one. I hope you understand. So now guys, we will see this reverse article button. So I have write down that subscribe target developer. When we click on the reverse article, so it what this button is doing guys, this is reversing the string from backward. So you can see the output. So let's go to our VS Code and see how it works guys. So guys, we are calling this dot reverse function from here guys, reverse function. So we will break down the code one by one. So I will explain you line by line. First understand this part, what this dot input string represents. So basically this dot input string represents the string input provided by the user. In this case, the input is subscribe target developers. The purpose of this line here we are checking whether the input string contains any text or not. If you talk about this double not operator, so basically this operator is used to convert the value of this dot input string into a boolean. The first not operator converts the string to false if it's not empty or true if it's empty. The second operator flips it back. So we get true if the string is not empty and false if it is empty. Since our input string is here subscribe target developers, so this dot is user enter text will be set to true. Now move to the next line. So guys, this is the main line where the transformation happen. So let's break it down. So let's talk about this part. This dot input string dot split. So guys, you can see on the screen, we have input string subscribe target developer. So this is our input string. On this input string, we are calling a split method. So what split method is doing here? Let's understand. Basically, it splits the string into array of character, individual characters. As you can see, this is the output guys. Now talk about this part, dot reverse function. Basically, what is the output of this? We are taking the input here, which is the output of the split function, and we are calling the reverse function here. After calling the reverse, it results this. So what basically the reverse function works here? So it reverses the order of the elements in the array. So basically, this dot reverse function reverses the order of the elements in the array. It reverses the order. So basically, the array starts from here, but it will print from in the reverse order S, R, E, P, O, as you can see on the screen. Now let's talk about the join function. So here is the input, which is the output of the this reverse function. So we are calling on this input join function. So we get the final output this in the string form. So let's understand what this join function do. This join function method joins the array of characters back into a single string with no separator between the characters. So what this join function do, guys? It basically joins back into a single string. Like this is a character, this is a character. It joins both character in a single string like this. Now let's talk about this line. What's this line purpose here? So this line checks whether the user has entered any text by looking at this dot is user enter text. Since this dot is user enter text is true, because the input string is not empty, the code will execute the open model function. This function will likely open a model dialog box displaying the transform text. So guys, we have covered this reverse function. I hope you understand. So guys, now we will look how this button works, guys. Remove special characters. So here we are taking the input subscribe target developers explanation at the rate. So when we click on this button, remove special characters. So you can see the guys, we have successfully removed the special character. So now we will look how this function works. So let's go to our VS Code, guys. To talk about first line. So here we are taking the input string, subscribe target developer, and double not operator that converts to true. The user has entered the text here. Now let's talk about this. Firstly, we will talk about this part, guys. This dot input string dot display. So we are calling the split function on the string subscribe target developers explanation at the rate. So this is our input. The output what we'll get, we can see. So what it is doing here, it is converting in the characters of a string, the array form. So what split method is doing here is breaks the string into an array of individual characters. Now talk about this part, dot filter. We are matching a char the regression expression dot test char. So this is our input, which is already output of split method. On this input, we are calling the filter char regression expression dot test char. So what output will I get? So you can see the output here. Basically, it removes this character and this character. What dot filter function is doing that? The filter method checks each character in the array against the regular expression. So let's understand about this regular expression. So small a dash z represent a lowercase letters. Capital A Z represent uppercase letters. 0-9 represent artisan. And this represent space. Understand that this test function how it works. So basically, guys, test function checks if a specific pattern like word or a combination of the letters and numbers exists in a string or not. If it exists, it returns true. If it not exist, it returns false. Basically, what it is doing here, it is filtering the array one by one, character by character, and is checking that this character is present or not in this regular expression. If it's present, it is giving a true. If it's not present, it is giving a false. Like example, we're taking the character S. It matches here. So it is coming under a dash shed. So it is present. So it will take that it will take that in an array. Like that, it is filtering the array of characters. So what finally we get the result here is character filtered array. Now understand how this join function works here. So guys, we are calling the join function in this input, which is the output of this filter method. So join method combines the filtered array back into a single string without any separator. The final output what will get subscribe target developers. Now let's understand this line. So guys, as you can see, according to our info, this dot is user enter text set to true. So open model function call with the argument subscribe target developer that would display the cleanup text in the model. So model is open showing the text subscribe target developers. So guys, this is our remove basic character function. I hope you understand. So now guys understand this remove numericals button. How this works here. So we are taking the input here, subscribe target developer 123. When we hit this remove numericals, you can see what output will get. We can see we have removed 123 digits here. So we are getting the subscribe target developer. So let's understand how this functionality works. So go to our VS Code guys. So this is our remove numericals function. So here we are taking input subscribe target developer 123 and we are getting the output in subscribe target developer. So this line is already we have discussed. We talk about the main line. So what filter method is doing? It loops through each character in the array and check whether it meets the specific condition or not. So let's talk about the condition. So this part char is less than 0. So this checks if a character comes before 0, which means that it will include all letters, spaces, punctuation, but not digits 0 to 9. This part char is greater than 9 checks if the character comes after 9. Again, this would include letters, spaces, punctuation, but not digits. The OR operator is satisfied if either of these checks is true. So here we get the array of characters that type target developers 1, 2, 3. But it is not come 1, 2, 3. It will come subscribe target developers 1, 2, 2, but in an array format. So now we will join this function, convert full string. Now talk about this line value. So we are giving the final output in the open model function and display the desired output. So this is our remove variables function. I hope you understand. So guys, now we will talk about the remove spaces button. So what this button guys? So I have given the input subscribe target developers and you can see on the screen guys, the spaces between the word has been removed now. So let's go to our VS Code and see how this functionality works. So guys, we are calling the remove space function from here. This dot spaces. So go to our remove spaces functionality. So this is our functionality here. If you see this line, we already discussed the previous methods. Now come to the next line. If you talk about this part, this dot input string dot display. So what this part actually do? So we are taking the input here, subscribe target developer. So in this input, we are calling the split. So what split method is doing? It is converting into the array of characters. After converting the array of character, it is filtering the array based on the given condition. So what this condition actually do? It is taking a character one by one from the array and comparing it should not be equal to the space. So if it is not equal to the space, so it will get the array. Otherwise, it will move from the array. After filtration, we will join the as a string the whole array. Now talk about the next line. So we are getting the desired output here in this variable, this dot transform text. So we are passing this dot transform text into the open model function, which will show as an output in the pop-up view. So guys, this is our whole functionality of the remote spaces, how it works. I hope you understand. Now we will talk about this button, trim the white space on ends. So for this functionality, we need to give the input which has the space from the starting and the space from the ending. So after hitting this button, you can see we have the space from the starting and the end, but it will not the space between the words. So let's go to our VS Code and let's understand the functionality. So this functionality we are calling from here this dot trim method. So this is our whole functionality guys. So let's understand line by line. So we are taking first line here. So we already discussed the first line, the previous methods. Now move on to the next line. So what this actually functionality do here? This dot input string dot trim. So it is taking the input this and it is calling the trim method on the given input. So we are getting a desired output here. And after getting a desired output in this variable transform text, so we are passing this transform text to the open model method. So what will do? It will display the output in the desired pop-up. So this is our functionality, guys. Trim functionality. I hope you understand. Guys, move forward. Now we will understand this button functionality. So I take the input here, subscribe dot target dot developers. So let's see what this button will do. Let's hit this button. Subscribe dot target dot developers. It will highlight this first dot, guys. So it is giving the index value of this first dot 9. So what this actually do? It is highlighting the first dot. Okay, so let's understand this fully. So go to our VS Code. So guys, this is our index of function functionality. So let's understand line by line. So this variable holds here subscribe.target.developer string. So this line determines that if the user has entered any text in the text area or not. Now come to the second line. So this part, this dot input string dot index of dot. This part, what signifies? Basically, index of method find the index of the first dot here in the input string. The index is stored in the variable get index. This variable, this dot transform text is stored the transform version of the input string. The string is divided into three parts, guys. First part is this dot input string dot slice bracket open 0 comma char index bracket close. The purpose of this line it takes the text before the dot. If you talk about slice function, what the slice function work here guys? It is starting the index 0 and taking the index char index current index like here is a dot is the current character index. So it will slice from 0 to that char index. You note here the char index is excluded here. If you talk about this part, guys, what this line purpose? So basically, it wraps the dot in a span tag with a highlight class of a styling. Now come to the next line. What this line signifies, guys? This dot input string dot slice bracket open char index plus 1. So basically, this line takes the text after the dot. If you talk about this line, what this line signifies? So the final result includes a line break and H1 text showing the index value of the dot. Now come to the next line, guys. So this line purpose is that if each user enter text is true, meaning there's a text input, the method open model is called with transform text as its argument. If there's a no input, does nothing. So guys, how this index of function works here, I hope you understand. So guys, now move forward. Now we will talk about last index of function. So I am taking the input here subscribe.target.develop. Now when we hit this button, let's see what happens. So as you can see on the pop-up, so it is taking the last index value dot is 16. So it will count from 0, 1, 2, 3 like this and go to the 16 part and it is been last index, but it will not take first index, but the last index. So let's understand what the functionality is. Let's go to this code. So this is our function last index. So this functionality is similar index of functionality, but here we are using the method last index of. Previously we are using here method index of. So this is only a difference in index of and last index of functionality. Index of functionality print the first index of the dot, but last index functionality gives the last index of the dot, like as you can see on the screen, last index. So I hope you understand the last index of functionality now. So guys, now we will move to the next button, count characters. Now we will see how this count character works, guys. So we have given the input here, subscribe, like, share, comment, target developers. Now we will hit the count characters and see what happens. So you can see it counts the character, guys. So go to our VS Code, let's see how it works. So guys, this is our switch case and we are calling the count character method from here. So this is our first line, guys. As already I had discussed this line in earlier method, so now I'm moving to the next line. If we talk about this line, guys, what this line purpose? If you see this part, this dot input string dot length. So here our input string is subscribe, like, share, comment, target developers, and we are calculating the length on this string. And the result we are stored in this transform text variable. After holding the result, this dot transform text variable, we are passing this variable in the open model function, which purpose is to show the pop-up. The pop-up is open when this value will be true. This dot is user enter text. It means that if user will enter any value in the text area, then only the model pop-up will open. Otherwise, it will do nothing. So guys, how this count character functionality works, guys. I hope you understand. So guys, moving forward, now we will discuss this button functionality, count vowels and consonants. So for this, we are taking the subscribe, like, share, comment, target developers. If we hit this button, so it shows the vowel count 15 and consonant count 26. So basically this button is counting the vowels and consonant counts. So go to our VS Code now. So guys, this function we are calling count vowel and consonant from the switch case. So this is our count vowel and consonant function. I will explain line by line now. So this line I have already discussed in the previous method. So I am moving to the next line now. In this line, we are declaring and also initializing the variable vowels with a zero. We are taking the consonant count and initializing the variable with a zero. If you talk about this part, so here we are using the for loop type and we are iterating the for loop in this input string. So one by one we are picking the character name like as, will, be, like this, one by one. After picking the character in the char variable, we are matching, we are passing that character in the includes method. So we are calling the include method in this string. Basically, this string holds the vowels A, E, I, O, U in a small letter and in the caps letter also. So this includes method checking this character is present in this string or not. If this character is present in this string, so it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. If the condition is returning true, then it will count the vowel count by one. If condition will fail here, so it will go to the else if condition. So here passing the char character in the test method, and this test method is called over the regular expression. Regular expression holds the range of alphabets from A to Z in caps and small letters. This character is present in this regular expression, so it will count the consonant. To talk about this part purpose to show the result vowels count in the H1 tag. And if you talk about this part, it is showing the consonant count. After holding the desired output in this variable transform text, we are passing this variable into the open order function, which shows the result in the pop-up manner. This pop-up is open, this variable is true, otherwise it will not open. So I hope you understand. So guys, now we will look replace word button value. So for this, we are giving the input here, subscribe, like, share, comment, target, folder. If we hit this button, so it is open the pop-up here, replace pop-up, and it is asking for an existing word and a new word. Then it will replace the word. So we are planning to replace the coders with the developers. So we are typing the existing word here, coders, and typing the new word here, developers. Now we will hit the replace button. But so you can see here we have successfully replaced the word coders with a developers here. So let's go to our VS Code and understand how this functionality works. So we are calling the replace method or a toggle method from here. So this is our replace toggle method, guys. If you talk about this line, so if the user entered any text in the text area, so it will check if user entered any text or not in the text area. This like purpose. So guys, first we will discuss this line. So purpose of this line that it will check here that user has entered any text in the text area or not. Now we will take the next line. This dot is user entered text question mark. This dot is pop-up replace equal to true colon empty string. Here in this line we are using the conditional operator here. If this value will be true, then it will run this part. Otherwise, it will run this part. Suppose the value is true here, then this part will be run correct. So this pop-up replace is a boolean value we have declared above the code. So we are assigning the true value here, pop-up replace. So let's understand this. Go to our HTML file and search with this term. So we have designed this replace pop-up here, as you can see. So in this pop-up, we are giving the heading replace, and we are taking the input text here, existing word and a new word, and we are taking the button replace button. When we hit this button, this submit function will call. Let's go to above. So this pop-up will display when this value will be true. This pop-up replace. Otherwise, it will not open. Suppose this value will be true. What happens? So it will display the pop-up and user has entered the existing word and a new word. Then it will hit the replace button. So this functionality will call. Go to this functionality then submit functionality. So in this line, we are taking the existing word here from the form. We are fetching the existing word, and in this line, we are taking the new word from the user. And now we are calling the replace method here. Go to the replace method. So we are taking the input here, subscribe, like, share, comment, target, code, and we are replacing the coders, the developers can see output what we getting. If you talk about first line, this line purpose is checking the user has entered any text area or not. If you talk about second, this dot is pop-up is equal to false. So it will assigning the false value in the pop-up replace boolean. It is a boolean type value. If you talk about this line, this dot transform text equal to this dot input string dot display this dot existing word dot join this dot what. So what this line purpose line? It will taking the input here. What input have like this input we are entering, and on this input we are calling the split method, and we are splitting the method, splitting the word with this condition, this dot existing word. Okay, and after calling the split method, then we are calling the join method. This condition we are joining again after splitting the thing. Now move to the next line. We are checking if user has entered text or not. If user entered text, then we put the border with the desired output we are passed here. So guys, how we have this display functionality working? I hope you understand that. So guys, now we will look into this button. So for this, we have give the input here, subscribe target term. Now we will hit this includes button. So you can see the pop-up has been opened and find word. So we need to enter the which we need to search in this string. So we are searching at target. So it is there. So when we hit the find, so it will show true. It means the target is present in the given string. So let's understand how it works. So go to our base code guys. So guys, we are calling this dot include toggle method from here. So this line purpose is that it will check the user has entered any text in the text area or not. Now come to the second line. This line check if the user had entered in the text area, if it entered by the user. So the pop-up will be true. Otherwise, it will do nothing. If you search this property in the HTML, so we have designed the input box here. If the property is true, then it will block, means it will open the pop. Otherwise, it will not open the pop-up. Here you can see we have used find word. It is the heading of the pop-up, and we are taking the input here, which is enter word, and we are taking the find button. When we hit this button, we're calling this find method. When we search in the TS file, this method, so this is a variable enter. We are taking the entered value where the user is the then we are calling this dot includes method. Go to this includes method now. So this is the includes functionality guys. If we talk about first line, so first line purpose is if the user has entered the text in the text area, then it will run. So here this dot input is holds the input here. So what we are giving the input here, the subscribe target. So this line check if the user has entered any text in the text area or not. We are assigning the boolean value false in this form boolean variable. Now we are calling includes method in the given input string and passing the parameter this dot enter word which is already taken by the user. So desired output is stored in this dot transform text. After holding this transform text, we are passing this dot transform text here, which will open the pop. If user has entered any text, then it will open the pop. Otherwise, it will not open the pop. So guys, this is our include functionality. I hope you understand. So guys, now we will look how substring function. So for this, we are giving the input here target developers. Now from the whole string, we are searching the target substring. When we hit substring button, so we have successfully find the substring here, target here. So let's see how this function. So go to our VS Code. So guys, this is our substring method. Let's understand line by line. If you see the first line here, double negotiation converts this dot input string to a boolean value. If this input string is non-empty, this dot is user entered text will be true. Otherwise, it will be false. Now move to the second line. This dot input string dot index of space returns the position of the first space character in this dot input string. If there is no space, index of returns -1. Now move to the next line. Here we are extracting the substring before the first space. If space index triple equal to -1, this dot transform text will be set to the entire input string. If it is not -1, then this dot transform text to the part of the input string that start at the beginning 0 and ends at the first space. So here in this scenario, our input string is a target developers. So space index would be 6 and this dot transform text would be target. For input string equal to target, index would be -1 and this dot transform text would be target. The final result will be saved in this variable, this dot transform text. After saving the result, we are passing in the open model pop-up. So pop-up will be displayed with the required result and it highlighted. We are using the class highlight here with yellow color. So guys, how this substring method works, I hope you understand. So now guys, we will see how slice function works. For this, we are giving the input here, subscribe target developers. When we hit the slice button, you can see we are getting the input here SC. So let's see how it works guys. So in the VS Code, you can see I have created a slice function. So now I will explain line by line how it works. If you talk about the first line here, the first line is checking whether the user entered any text or not in the text area. Now move to the next line. So next line is taking the input string and calling the slice function. If you talk about this part, this dot input string dot slice, we are giving the value 3, comma 5. So here our input string is subscribe target developers. So what slice function actually works, guys? So it is extracting the part from index 3 to 5. But here you note that 5 is excluded here. Let me understand. If you count the index here 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will start from here 3, 4, 5. So I already said you 5 is excluded here, which means it will not include. So what final output will get SC here and desired output will store in this variable, this dot transform text. After storing the result in this variable, we are passing this variable in the open model. The result will be showed in the pop-up form. If the user has entered any text in the text area, then it will open the pop-up. Otherwise, it will not open the pop. So guys, I hope you understand how slice function works here. Now guys, we will see how split method works here. So for this functionality, we are giving the input here subscribe target developers. Now let's hit the button split method. So you can see we are getting the result here. If you see the console here, so we are getting the characters in the array form. So let's understand how split function works here. So you can see I have designed the split method here. So let's understand line by line. If you talk about this line, so I have already discussed in the previous method, it will check the text has entered by the user in the text area or not. If you talk about the second line, in the second line, we are calling the split method in the given input string and then we are storing that result in the transform text. If you talk about this part, this dot input string dot split. So here our input string is subscribe target developers. On this input string, we are calling the split method with an empty string. So basically what split method works here. So as you can see on the console, split method is breaking the string into the characters of array. Like S is a character, U is a character, and it is in the array form. After storing the result in the transform text, then we are passing this variable in the open model, which will display the result in the pop-up manner. The pop-up will open if the user enter text is true. Otherwise, it will not open. So guys, I hope you understand how split function works here. So guys, now we will understand how join button works here. For this, we are giving the input here subscribe target developer. When we hit the join button, so you can see we are getting the result here, subscribe target developers. If you see the console here, we are getting the subscribe target developers first result, then we are getting the subscribe target developer, the final result. So let's understand how join function works here. So this is our join function guys. So let's understand line by line. This line I have already discussed previous method. So move to the next line. So in this line, we are calling the split method on the given input string. So our input string here is subscribe target developer. So we are breaking the input string by the comma. If you console the item array here, we can see on the right side, like this output we will get subscribe target developers in the array form. So what we are doing here, we are breaking the string by the comma. So you can see we have a subscribe comma. So it will break the whole string here, this part. Then it will break this part, then this part, like this. Now move to the next line here. So we are calling the join method here on the items array. Items, when we console the transform text, so you can see on the right side in the console. So we are getting the subscribe target developer as a full string. So what join function works here guys? It actually makes the character array in the full string. Now we are passing this dot transform text in the open model. So the desired output will open in the pop-up form. So this is our join method guys. I hope you understand. So guys, now we will see how splice function works here. So for this, we are giving the input here, subscribe target developers. So when we hit this button, you can get the output here, subscribe. So let's understand how it works guys. If you see our VS Code editor, so here I have defined splice method. So let's understand line by line. If you talk about first line here, so I have already discussed earlier methods that it is checking the user has entered a text in the text area or not. Now come to the second line. So we are calling the split method on the given input string. So our input string is here subscribe target developers. If you see console log this dot transform text. So you can see the output in the right side. So we are getting the output subscribe target developers. So it is in the form of the characters in the array form. So here the indexing is 0, 1, 2. Total here 3 element is there. Now come to the second line. Now come to the next line here. So here we are calling the splice method on the transform text. Under the splice method, we are giving 1, comma 2. If you talk about this parameters, so what it means? It means that remove two items starting from index 1. So let's understand our index is 0 is this and 1 2 like this. So we are starting from index 1 and what second parameter is saying to remove 2 from starting 1. So we are removing target and developers. So we have removed two elements which is starting from one index. If you see the console log, so we are getting here subscribe the output. So we have successfully removed two items, target and developers from index 1. After storing the result in the transform text, so we are passing this variable in the open model which show the result in the pop-up manner. So guys now understand how we can add items with the splice method. Lately we are splitting the input string by the help of split method. So you can see the console log of this here. So we are getting the desired output here, subscribe target developers. So what we are doing here guys in the next step, we are adding the like share before the target here. So how we can do? So we are calling the splice method guys on the transform text what we are holding the this array of characters. Under the splice method we are passing the 1 0 and we are giving like and share. So what 1 signifies here means it will start from index 1 0 1. And what 0 signifies here? It means we do not want to remove any element here. So we are giving 0 here. Now we will add like and share from index 1. So you can see the output here. From index 1, we have added like, then we add share. So these two elements we have added before the target. So like that the splice method works here. After storing the After storing the result, we are showing this result in a pop-up manner. So guys, now we will see how we can replace an item with a splice method. So here we are replacing the subscribe with a like. So in this line, we are calling splice method on the transform tag. We are passing three parameters 0, 1, like. So 0 is indicating the subscribe. 1 is indicating here to remove one element from the starting index. So here starting index is 0. So it is saying that remove subscribe. After removing subscribe, then we are replacing that index with this new text like. So you can see here we have removed the subscribe and we are replacing the subscribe with a like text and remaining characters are same. target developers. After holding the transform text, then we are passing the open model which show in the pop-up. So how replace item with splice works, guys? I hope you understand. So we have discussed splice method with three variants here. I hope you understand. So guys, we have covered all the functionality here.